Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-Bhaktimam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guruyambaram. Punjab occasion, just the prayer verse. That one Memanise Pratishtita.
Yeah, I'll do that. Om Vagme Manasi Pradishtita Mano Me Vaji Pradishtitam Avir Me Eti Vedasya Ma Anisutta Sudam Me Ma Prahasi Anena Adi Tena Ahorhatran Sandadami Ridam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tatmamavadu Tatvaktaramavadu Avadu Mam Avadu Vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
So last time we had seen the whole thing about the creation of food, how the conscious being could eat the food, etc., all that. Okay? And that conscious being who is manifest, the Virat Purusha, understanding that I am Brahman because I am all that is there in it. And we had stopped here and said, if people can read it up, if there is any doubt, check up. So I hope people have read up whatever it is. We have 2 weeks gap, and we are ready to go forward. Okay. Because I didn't do verse by verse, because lot of the verses were, oh, you couldn't take the food with your eyes, you couldn't take the food with your smell and all that. Just a logic that you have to eat food. Okay, we know you have to eat food. There, the Shruti is only doing an Anuvada, it's not Pramana. Why do you need the Shruti to come and tell me we have to eat food? I know that. Yeah. I know seeing food will not satisfy me. So that is just an Anuvada, etc. Okay. Then we had also seen about the entry of the Purusha, etc., into the womb, into the fetus, all that you saw. Okay. Some of it not purely scientific, but that's okay. That's how the Shastra looks at it. Everything need not be scientific. Okay. Yeah.
Pranam Swamiji.
And now, the class is on, so don't start greeting in between. When you are talking about the whole thing, then any questions up to now? Or it's clear? Yeah, shall be. Okay, clear. Okay, fine. Okay, then in the second chapter, okay? The second chapter, okay? Part 2, chapter 1, that is in this book, starts with page 43. Okay. And the verse, he is trying to establish Mithyatvam of birth and death. Okay? Because birth and death are experience facts. And birth and death were taken as serious issues. Then also, now also. No? The child is born, there is celebration, there is happiness, there is joy. There is similarly, in death, there is sadness, grief. Even though you say, if the person has lived a full life, the death should be considered like a celebration. Still, there is grief, etc. So, because of that, a little bit here, he is trying to show the Mithyatvam of the whole thing. Okay? The Mithyatvam of birth and death, saying what is this thing that we call birth and death? Okay? So the argument is a little bit roundabout, but it's a nice argument. Panchagapagation, the first 2-3 verses from page 53 onwards in this book. Okay.
Very good.
They all love your chanting, So some people actually told me, you want to hear Panchagapagation chant. So I said, okay.
Okay. See, I don't know. See, each
Om Purusha Hava, that
has got a different segregation. Each one.
Purusha Hava, I am Aditya.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Because when you said 2-3 verses,
Yeah.
they are got different procedures. So I'll do the first one as from this book.
Chapter 2, the first Anuvaka.
Pradama Kandaha. Purusho Hava Ayamadite Garbo Bhavati Ededat Tadedat Sarvebhyo Ankebhyo Tejasa Sambhudam Atma Mandetvatmanam Vivarti Tadyada Triyam Sinchityatena Janeti Tadasya Pradamam Janma.
Go ahead. Tastariyam Atma Bhutam, that way.
He's muted.
Yes, you are muted.
Huh?
Mute.
Is that, yeah.
Okay.
Sound is not coming.
Yeah.
Shall I repeat the second verse?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tasriya Atmabhutam Gacchati Yata Samangam Tada Tasmadenam Nahinasti Sastaitam Atmanam Atragatam Bhavayati
Next one also.
Sa Bhavayitrini Bhavidatva Bhavati Tam Sri Garbhe Garbham Vivarti Sokre Eva Kumaram Janmano Agre Adivadeti Yes Satkumaram Janmatre Agre Adibhavayatama Atmanameva Tadbhavame Tesham Lokanam Satya Santayatya Evam Saddada Himolokaha Tadasya Dvidiyam Janmaha.
Okay. Let us see what the whole thing is. One Sanskrit verse comes in and the computer asks, which language are you speaking? Okay.
Thank God there is something that computer doesn't know.
Says, Om Purusha Hava, I am.
So Abhishek, after my reading, after the way I read, people may ask which language he is talking.
The computer definitely is asking.
Yeah,
AI is asking.
Okay.
he is asking.
Purusha Hava, I am Adito Garbhaye Bhavati Yad Etatratah. He says, one way of looking at it, okay? He says, the potential jiva is first there in a person, in a Purusha. He says, how he said, Tad etat sarvebhyo angebhya tejasa sambhutam atminyavatmanam vibharti. This is from all the food that you've eaten, from all the prana in your various limbs, etc., what is gathered into the sperm. Not drawn into the sperm, in other words. Whatever scientific explanation you want to give is equally valid. Okay. The idea is for a new birth, okay, the person has to conceive, the sperm has to be there. Okay. Then what? Okay. That means what? Now he is saying he holds himself in himself. The sperm is the creator of life. So there he has to hold it in himself. Then what happens? He says, Tad yadva striyam sanchati, tad enam janayati tadasya pratama janmaha. Then he lets it into his wife. That letting it into the wife is the pratamaha janmaha, first birth. Conception itself is taking as the birth. Okay. Conception is the first birth, he is saying. All right, correct. Conception is the first birth, pratamaha janma. Okay. Then what? Tas striyam atma bhuyam gacchati yatha swam angam tatha. That zygote now, two cells. Okay. Striyam atma bhutam bhavati. It is one with the woman now. And so angam yatha, exactly like its own limbs. Meaning it's one with the woman. Okay. Tasmad enam na hinasti. Therefore, because there is one, that fetus, even though technically it's an external body, does not harm the woman. Technically they are a separate entity, no? But it does not harm the woman. Sa asya atma gatam bhavayati. So what? Then it is the woman that is nourishing her, nourishing the fetus. In fact, she is the kshetra, the field. Okay? The man's role is limited. It is she who is nurturing the fetus. Then he makes a very interesting statement. Sa bhavayatri. She who is the nourisher, bhavitavyaha bhavati, deserves all nourishment. The one she who is the nourisher, who nourishes the fetus, deserves all nourishment. Barabar hai. Only problem is, in the name of nourishment, she is asked to eat for two. Then she will put on 30 kilos of weight. Not necessary. Minimum 8, maximum 12. That's all the weight you need to put on, medically speaking. Okay. But it's cool. You have to nourish the woman, na? So badam khilao, ye khilao, wo khilao, what all. Ghee, tons of it. So why are you? See, there is some meaning in all that. Why? You need a lot of fat, cholesterol, etc. for the formation of the fetus. Proteins, cholesterol, all that is necessary. But that eating for two is not necessary. Eat healthy. Okay. 8 to 12 kilos. Minimum 8 kilos, maximum 12. But I seen pregnant women put on 20 kilos, 30 kilos. What is this like? Unhealthy. Yeah. Unhealthy. Then you get all that pregnancy-induced diabetes, this, that, all that big, and all the big problems starts. Anyway, that's medical issues, not mine issue. Okay, I just mentioned it because she deserves to be nourished, to be taken care of. Correct. Tam stri garbham vibharti. So she is the one who protects the embryo. Saha agre eva kumaram janmana agre adibhaveti. Then what? As soon as the child is born, the father also becomes a protector from external issues. It is still the mother that nourishes. Can't do without the mother. Okay? But the father is also the external protector. Okay, fine, all right. Sayyat kumaram janmana agre adibhavyatya atmanyeva tadbhavyatesham lokanam santyam. Now, in protecting the son, of course, there's love, affection, even if you don't know any Shastra, etc. This naturally happens. Paternal instincts naturally happen. But he says here, it is an added thing. Why? You need a child for your continuous in this world propagation of the species. We will say, your kula has to move forward, so you need a child. Another child for the kula to move forward. Okay? And if you after death are going to heaven, etc., and some karma is missing in your life, then the Shraddha ceremonies that your child does will sustain you there. This is the religious view. Okay? The religious view. Therefore, there is a self-interest in the parents protecting the child as well. Never believe that, you always try to present, oh, parents' love is unconditional, never unconditional. I had young mothers coming and telling me, Swamiji, I feel like running away. I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit. Your life is topsy-turvy. And people will give you all well-meaning advice. Sleep when the child sleeps. Wake up when the child sleeps. No, so the child has just gone to sleep. You have fed the child, he's gone to sleep. And he said, I'll just fold these clothes and put it away and then sleep. By the time the child is up again. Life is topsy-turvy. In fact, I met this young girl, young mother. She had come to Rishikesh with her 2-year-old daughter for the camp. Okay, she managed well. Then, when I was having a meeting in General Suri's house after the camp, she came to see me there. So these are new people to Vedanta. They all wanted to ask, how has Vedanta helped you? She said, very clear. My life is divided into before Vedanta, after Vedanta. So, you have a child? Yeah. I said, she brought the child to the camp. Oh my God, you did that? Yeah. Fine. So, only one child. You're not going to have a second child? No way. No way. Why? He said, it is not difficult to conceive a child and have a child is easy. All the work starts after that. Right, Gunchan, you said that. All the work starts after that. Conceive and deliver a child is okay, no problems. All the work starts after that. She's a great entrepreneur, but she's not yet been able to go back full time. 3 years now. No? She made a beginning for the camp for Vedanta studies. Okay. Because that's how life is. Okay. Therefore, forget this unconditional love. If you have a healthy love and nurturance, good enough. Okay? Good enough. Right. Evam santata hi me loka tadasya dvitiya jan. Okay? So that becomes the second birth. What is the second birth? The parent is born as the child. Says that is your second birth. First birth, conception, second birth into the world. Second birth. And for the parents also second birth. Why? Your genes are continuing. No? Your species are being propagated. So even though the child is a separate entity, as far as the body is concerned, is there a Satya-Mithya relationship? Does it exist separate from the parents' body is concerned? It's all combination of genes. How separate are you? In fact, even psychologically, how separate you? All the ladies better read this book, whatever your age. There is a book written, I forget the name of the author, it's a very popular book. Bombay, you'll get it on the footpaths in Matanga and all. It's called My Mother, Myself. I don't know if any of you have read this book. My Mother, Myself. When I talk about serials, nobody has seen it. When I talk about movies, nobody knows. When I talk about books, nobody knows. What are you all guys doing in the world?
Instagram.
क्या हो रहा है? It's a good book. I suggested it to one of my friends. She read it and she called me up. Says, Ramji, I am scared. I don't want to be like my mother. And now that I am 50, I am becoming more and more like her. I don't want to be that. I dislike my mother. I couldn't get along with my mother. How unconsciously, subconsciously you pick up so much. So the parent is born as a child, okay? My Mother, Myself. I don't know the author, I forget the name of the author. I read it some 30 years ago. But still available everywhere. Yeah, one of my young students in her 20s picked up that book and gave it to her mother. You better read it to understand how much you are behaving like your mother. Nancy Friday, Karthik, that is, yeah. Nancy Friday? Nancy Friday writes fiction.
I don't know, Swami. I thought that was the author.
Okay. Right. So, how much is the separateness? Yeah. How much is separateness? A child is that which makes a man out of his father and a boy out of his grandfather. Okay. Father has become a man. Now I have to take responsibility. And grandfather starts playing around. The privileges you have with age. Okay. All right. Then what? All right. Punjab vacation, you can go with 4th and 5th. 4th, 5th, 6th. The simple verses. Nothing much to be explained. That's why I normally don't do Aitareya, but I said let me do this for a change.
Swamiji,
Yeah.
before I read, I have one small question,
Yeah.
which I don't know whether that Gambhirananda's I got. In the first section starting, there is a reference about Garbinis. Apakramantu Garbinyaha.
Huh?
Apakramantu Garbinyaha. He asks all the pregnant ladies to leave the class. Is there in the Gambhirananda's book?
No, I have not seen that. It is I have the Gambhirananda's commentary.
Because Sarvananda has got also that, and the Gurudev's book also has that.
My book doesn't have, the Bhashya doesn't have.
Okay, probably good things are said about it.
You are saying at the beginning of the Bhashya?
Yes.
Beginning of the
Not
section.
of the
Chapter 2,
yeah,
first
chapter
section.
2.
Chapter 2, section 1. Not Bhashyam, basically, but I don't have that book.
No, here the Bhashya is there here.
Not in the Bhashya. Okay. In the Moolam, chapter 2, section 1, Pradhava Kanda, that is
Okay,
thing.
the Bhashya doesn't have it.
Okay.
Yeah, at least I can't see it in the Bhashya, I not come across it. I don't know why some orthodoxy again saying that pregnant women should not hear it. Why should they not hear it? I don't know.
And later there is another reference saying that pregnant women can now come enter the class.
Maybe they are afraid that the child may hear and refuse to enter samsara, like Abhimanyu. I have never come across such a statement by in any of the scriptural texts or any Bhashya. Okay. Now, if there is a Pauranic reference to this, I don't know, because I have not gone through every Purana, including Kurma, Matsya, etc. I have not gone through all of that.
Say loudly one verse.
So, where is the quote from? Has he given a quote?
No.
It is at the beginning of the.
Yeah, but is he quoting someone?
No.
Then Swayam Kalpitam? Is it Kalpitam by himself?
Because I see it in Swami Chinmayananda's book.
What is he said?
And also, and Ramakrishna book also. So let me see whether he has written anything.
See whether there is a source. No? See, when you
Yeah.
make statements like this, there must be some source, some quotation. Otherwise, not pramana. It's an opinion.
And to go through Swami's Gurudev's commentary, you have to read the total thing to know where he has talked about.
Is it really Gurudev's commentary or some interpolation by some character who is doing
No,
this
it is-
translation
it is-
or the transcription? Or Gurudev
no,
said,
it is-
Gurudev said something and people understood something and wrote it. This happens very often in Gurudev's commentaries.
Because in the Ramakrishna Mission book also,
So is there a quotation somewhere? That's what I'm asking.
No, I have not
Then
seen.
if there is no quotation, apramanya. There is no pramana for it.
Or it can be an Arthavada they have put through. Because in both
One
are
sec,
there.
Punjabication, listen to what I'm saying.
Bracket.
A lot of things can be said by a lot of people. Unless they can show a relevant quote about it, it is not pramana.
Right. Okay.
Upanishad doesn't say it, Bhashya doesn't say it. Then
Okay.
who is saying it? Some commentator. That must be his own orthodoxy saying it. Remember, I always said, make the difference between orthodoxy and tradition. Yeah. All that make that difference, because I have not seen this anywhere. Not there in this Bhashya and its translation. I have not seen it anywhere. Yeah.
It's something like a stage direction. It's something.
Nope.
The read one also.
So, in the which Ramakrishna Mission publication is it available?
Swami Sarvananda.
Sarvananda. Swami Sarvananda.
Revade. Revade. Let it be. Is this personal?
Whether it is there in that.
It is his personal opinion. It is not there in the Bhashya. It is not there in the Upanishad. If he wants to say that and say that in his class, pregnant lady should not be sitting, that is his personal choice.
Okay.
Yeah. At least he should have quoted Manu or some Manu Smriti or something like that. वो भी नहीं है.
Because I'm also surprised.
Anyway, Manu Smriti is not valid in Kali Yuga. So even if it is Manu Smriti, you don't have to follow it. Because Manu himself says in Kali Yuga I am not applicable. Then what are people talking about and for what? Unnecessary digression. Let it be.
Anyway, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
No, I thought I will just check back because Gurudev's book also has that.
Punjabication,
No,
when you
please
hear, see, be careful what you are going into, what you are not going into. When you hear such a statement, you know it's an orthodox statement, don't you not?
Yeah, I see. That's why I asked you.
So,
If something is
so
amiss.
ditch it. Don't even ask, don't even bring it up. When you see Bhashya mein hai, Upanishad mein hai, what or even bother about it? Ditch it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, ditch it. Yeah. It's all someone's nonsense. Just because Sarvananda said it doesn't make it right. Yeah. Many of the Ramakrishna Mission sadhus are listening to Paramarthanandas and my YouTube videos for their education. And if they have quoted something like this, they have problems. Yeah. Some orthodoxy creeping through. Because see, you don't know the background of many of the people. Many of the people come from very orthodox backgrounds. And they have not learned to separate out the background and the pramana. So whatever they have picked up, they include into the Shastra. This is one idiocy that's going on among the orthodox world. Because anything that's done for 2-3 generations becomes tradition. I told you about the cat sutras of Buddhism. ऐसे होता है. Try to convince a Rajasthani that Ghungat is not a tradition. Try.
They would accept.
They are shocked how South Indians are sitting for their marriage without a Ghungat. How untraditional that is. ये रिवाज नहीं है, ये सच नहीं है. This is not the correct thing to do. And you will say the reverse about them. Because similarly, we have rituals which are idiotic. Then you need a pramana. Yeah. Or at least a Bhashya. Both are not there. It's all stupidity. Okay. 4th, 5th, 6th, please.
Yeah. स अस्य अयमात्मा पुण्येभ्यः कर्मभ्यः प्रतिदीयते अदास्यद्दात् पितरम् आत्मा कृतकृत्ययो वयोगतः प्रैति स इतः प्रत्यन्नेव पुनर्जायते तदस्य तृतीयं जन्म तद् उक्तं ऋषिणा गर्भेनु सन्
सन्वेषामावेदः
अदद्वेमहं देवानां जनिमानि विश्वा शतं मा पुर आयसि
रक्षः
अरक्षन् श्योनो जवसा निरुदीयमिति गर्भ एवैतच्छायानो वामदेवो एवमुवाच.
Next one also. Say evam vidvan.
Shall I finish the sixth one also?
Yeah.
Yeah, that ends it. Say evam vidvan asmat charita vedat urdam utkramayam ushman sargo loge sarvan kamana tuvan prita samabhavat yata sthanam garbhinyah. That's what it is put in the bracket in the end.
Yeah. Okay. Then he says, look at it. Says Saha ayam atma punyebhya karmabhya pratidiyate. Who I am atma? The atma that is born as the son. Myself born as my son. Punyebhya karmabhya pratidiyate. The father hands over the responsibility of all the karma, etc. to the son. This is a general tradition. Okay. See, in every family there is a tradition of Vaidika karma and Laukika karma also. Most of it, some of it you take it up as a student itself, as a brahmachari itself you take it up. Then, as a grihastha, you have a lot more things to do. Laukikam in terms of earning a living, etc., all that. Vaidika karma also. Then generally, when your son gets married and has a child, by that time you will be what? 50 plus 60? You hand over everything to your son. Your child, who is the next in line. Depends whether it's a patriarchal society or a matriarchal society. Both were there in the Vedic traditions. There were a lot of panditas, women scholars also. Okay. One of my Guru Bens has written a book called the Rishikas of the Veda, of the Rig Veda. I identified hundreds of Rishikas. Okay. Women who were Rishis. So the tradition was either one, okay? Yeah. Okay. Pratidiyati is given over. Then Ayata Sammitara Atma Kritakrityo Vayogataha Prauti. Then Vayogataha, once he has reached old age, Prauti, he goes on his onward journey. Then Saita Putre Punarjayate. Then he is born again. Says this is his third birth, he says. First was his birth, second time was the birth of his son, third is when he is taken a rebirth. Okay? Taken a rebirth. Okay? Why? Because the Jiva is the same, na? Jiva is the same. Therefore third birth. Okay? And in this process, now what are you trying to achieve? Your first birth is second birth, third birth, what is this? To show mithyatvam of janma marana. You're not really born, you're not really dying. It's just a play that's going on. The jiva survives. Even at the jiva level, you survive death. No? I had an interesting incident. One guy who was talking all this, but he was just having discussion, never a student. After death, he comes and says, I'm not really dead. I said, what do you think I was telling you all this? What was I telling you all these days? You never bother to study. Now go. Next lifetime pick it up. Next lifetime pick it up. और क्या बोलेगा उसको? भूत हो गया रह जाओ, I'll teach you. No. I have enough headache teaching living beings. So, Mithya. Then he says, realizing this Mithyatvam, Vamadeva in his womb itself. Okay? Vamadeva is supposed to be born wise. Okay? He was a person who was supposed to be born wise. So what did Vamadeva say? Okay. Garbhe nusannevesham vedaha. I knew all this in the Garbha only. This is why the orthodoxy has come. All pregnant women go out. Because in the Garbha itself, the person who becomes a wise person, क्या करेगा? Abhimanyu learned the art of war there itself. How to break through the Chakravyuha. ऐसा गड़बड़ नहीं होने का है बोल के, okay. Or some later writers have brought that orthodoxy. Okay. Aham devanam janmani vishwa. Even the birth of the gods, etc. I knew. Shatam pura aisir rakshaha. Okay. And Shatam mama, all the bonds that were tying me down, I broke free. Okay. Nadya shayano javasa naradiyamiti. Okay. By the dint of my knowledge, I broke through all the bonds that were tying me down. What is the bond that tie you down? Remember, the child is not even born. Avidya kama karma. Avidya is there, desire is there, karma of past lifetimes is there. Yes, I broke free all of that even in my Garbha evation shayano Vamadeva evam vacha. So, Vamadeva was an exceptional case. Okay? Probably he heard his parents discussing Vedanta. Okay? Or his mother was also teaching Vedanta. Or mother was at least sitting in a class where the Guru was teaching. So the child picked it up. Exceptional case हो जाता है. Hearing these stories, I was taking a class for a small group of people in Chambur. Okay. So one of their friends, daughter-in-law, had just conceived. So they asked, can my daughter-in-law also sit in the class? Expecting that the child will be born very wise. This is 10 years ago. I know the child is as idiotic as any other child, or as smart as any other child. Rishi nahi hai na, I couldn't penetrate that and teach him. I teach living people. Okay, not before, after. If they understand, I am very happy. People like Vamadeva, Abhimanyu are all exceptions. We cite them as proof for prenatal learning. Revadi. Yeah, some samskaras can be put in. Okay, like I have seen musicians, their children being able to pick up and identify ragas. Or if the mother has been singing one particular raga, the child identifies with that. These type of things I have seen. Beyond that, I don't know. Only Vamadeva is good. In the Bhashya, Shankara should quote somebody else, no? Apna example hai na, champion hai. Why? Exceptional cases. Okay? Exceptional cases. So they'll say, expose the mother to all the good things in life. Good samskaras. Not तेरे नानी मर गई तो मैं क्या करूँ type of songs. Okay. रास्ता पर जा रहा था, बेलपुरी खा रहा था. That the kid is going to do anyway in Bombay. however much you tried about against street food, etc., the child will do that. We all did it, no? The child will also do. Yeah. So exposure, that's all. Good samskara. Nothing more than that. Vamadeva was an exception who in birth itself he learned. Okay. So he says, yeah.
Swamiji, according to this, jiva is same for the parent and the child, but jiva is different, right?
The jiva is different. So he's showing the mithyatva of birth
Just
at the physical level. Yeah, that's all. The idea is what? Birth and death are not real. That conscious being is the only reality. This previously he also said, this is Indra, this is a worshipful one, etc. He had said that. I don't think people have read that. That's a problem. Okay? थोड़ा सा बोलता है पढ़ो करके वो पढ़ के नहीं आता. So didn't come for the camp also. Then at least you could do the reading. So mithyatva of things. The consciousness is only reality. So what is all this birth and death and jiva and all you're talking? All mithya things happening. Not to be taken too seriously. Okay? Yeah. That's the whole idea. There's nothing else in all these arthava. These are semi-arthavada statements, highlighting certain things. Okay? Then he says, such a person, ya evam vidvan, asmat sharira, urdhvam utkramayan, ushman swarge loke sarvan kaman apnoti amrutam sambhavat. Now, this verse can be taken in two ways. This such a person who knows the truth, like Vamadeva. Vamadeva learned it in his garbha. We learn it outside. Okay? After we have come outside, we do a lot of learning to get it. Yeah. So once we do that, then when you drop this body, meaning you're no more identified with the body. Body is an instrument in your hands. You have to get something done, no? So body is an instrument. And the body also is to be taken care of. This is something people have to recognize. An instrument doesn't mean you ignore it. Okay? You used a sword, chopped up a lot of stuff. After that, what do you do? I'm tired, I want to rest. Yeah, catch your breath. That's all. Then, first thing is clean up your sword. Clean up your sword is okay, good condition, oil it, etc. and put it back into its sheath. Right? It has to be taken care of. Similarly, this body, you are using it. No? Take care of it. It is not you, no, it's an instrument. Body is an instrument. Take care of it. We don't. We think we are great jnanis. It's only an instrument. Your tamas is coming up in terms of not taking care of the body. That's all. If you don't take care of your body, it is not out of some great knowledge or wisdom or something. It is sheer tamas and lack of responsibility. Take care of it. It's an instrument. Keep it in good condition. Of course, wear and tear will be there. Sometimes you may need spare parts also. And spare parts are available, na? Thoda stenting is available. Hip replacement, knee replacement available. Spare parts are taken. Huh? Yeah. Your 20-year-old car will require a lot of spare parts. A 70, 80-year-old body won't require spare parts. So it requires spare parts, okay. थोड़ा tubing खराब हो गया, stent लगा दें. Okay, doesn't matter. Tube got blocked. No. Bypass the tube. No problem.
Swamiji,
Yeah?
was Ashtavakra also like Vamadeva?
No.
Can you compare him?
Ashtavakra also to an extent, but that story is different. That's not for knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So here, when it comes to that, understand the mithyatva of the body. Similarly, mind, it's an instrument. No? I'm feeling like this. Change your feelings. Change your thinking. Huh? But how can I? What? You're giving your inner reality too much of reality. Does it match facts outside? But I'm feeling like that. Huh? What do you mean I'm feeling like that? Yeah, I'll validate you, but not justify your emotions. Validate the person. Those of who are psychologists, validate the person. You don't have to justify the emotion. In fact, you have to help the person drop the emotion. Change it into something healthier. So that is for mind, etc. Knowledge, you are holding on to your ideas. For what? Ideas are subject to change. Knowledge is subject to correction all the time. We never have the last word in anything. What are you doing? So, all is subject to change, except the one who sees the whole thing. So, a person like that, who has understood this, says, therefore, for all practical purposes, drop the body. He is above the body. So, Ashrute Sarvan Kaman, as good as having all his desires fulfilled. Why? He is Ananda now, Ananda Sarupa. Where do you want a fulfillment of a desire? I want to fulfill this desire, so I'll become miserable. Huh? Anyone has a desire like that to be fulfilled so that they'll become miserable? I remember one character who lives down my road coming and telling me that, Swamiji, I'm looking for pain. I mean, that time I was not Swami, Rama. I'm looking for pain. I said, why? I want to be a writer, and unless we have pain in our lives, we don't become good writers. I said, turn around, my leg is ready to give you a nice kick on the butt. You get all the pain you want. If you want, face me, I'll make you see stars also. Who else desires? He has a desire that he wants to go through painful experience, so he'll become a good writer, and he'll be praised and appreciated, and he'll be happy. At the end of it, what he wants to be happy. He thinks this experience will make him a better writer. That's like the moron who left his home, his house, and sat on the street light, under the street light to study. Why? All great people have studied under the street light and become great. But you are light at home, na? Why are you not studying at home? Following great people's path. Idiot. ऐसे होता है सब. So, all desires are for the sake of Ananda. And here you directly got Ananda. What do you need? Which desire to be fulfilled for you to be Ananda? Nothing. That is one way, this thing of looking at. Another is after death, Krama Mukti. Okay? Krama Mukti or Videha Mukti. Okay? He didn't put in enough effort to own it up in his lifetime right now. He knew, but didn't own it up enough. Therefore, as punishment, he is sent to Brahmaloka. There, taught by Brahmaji, he will own it up. Or living in Brahmaloka, because Brahmaloka will all be places, people like him. Na? In Brahmaloka, what are you going to talk about? Are you worried about your son you left behind? That's not what you're going to talk about in Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka, everyone who goes there are either done lot of upasanas, etc., that got them there, or Vedantins who didn't make it complete. So what will they talk about? Vedanta only, और क्या बात करें? Of course, there are other things also to enjoy life. That is there, but that's a given, na? Like when you come back from a camp, are you going to talk about the Ganga and the teaching and things like that, or how good the Bandara was? मेरे को भंडारा में मजा नहीं आया. Didn't feel like eating a भंडारा. समझी 5 भंडारा खाया. हाँ 5 भंडारा, लेकिन पूरी नहीं था. The special सब्जी they make for, it was a healthy version of भंडारा. ये क्या है? I'm very glad it is like that. Okay. But do you have discussions like this?
No jalebi either.
If you are having it, then you belong somewhere else. Yeah, it is a different thing. So similarly, in Brahmaloka, what are you going to discuss about? either how karma upasana is not enough for moksha. हाँ रे, हम इधर अटका ये लोकम. I come up to this loka, I'm very happy, everything is fine. The upasana phalam I have got, but I'm still limited here, no? I'm still limited here. The sense of limitation is there. I mean, how much am I going to enjoy life? And I can't do any karma or upasana here anyway. At least Vedantins can discuss with each other. Tat chintanam, tat katanam, anyonya tat prabodhanam, that can happen in Brahmaloka. Think about it, talk about it, help each other, clarify. Those things can happen. But Guru is not there. So sometimes you may get stuck on a mistake. Or if you are holding on to your ideas there also, thora vairagya come. Okay, gone to Brahmaloka after all the learning means something is missing. No? Thora vairagya come. No, my idea is correct. I don't want to talk to that group. Same problems. What I am trying to say is, even in Brahmaloka, little bit of the samsaritvam will continue. Why? Because there is a loka. Only at the end of the kalpa, taught by Brahmaji, you will gain your freedom. So, Brahmaloke mahiyate, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. Okay? Salt in a sense, it will happen, of course it will happen, but taught by Brahmaji. Yeah. Without that, even there you have to go through some learning again. So once you go through that learning, then the process is completed. Remember, whichever loka, whatever you do, finally it comes down to what? The Mahavakya. Tattvamasi iti, aham brahmasmi iti. If that is not clear, nothing is clear. I am the consciousness which is limitless. If this cannot be owned up, study is incomplete. That's all I am saying. I am saying study is incomplete. You have to get the study done. Why not do it here itself? Limited time, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. If you are doing it for a limited time, it doesn't matter. You're still getting it now. Still getting it. It is not the length of exposure. Limited exposure also can deliver the goods to you. It's how well you understand, how will you commit yourself to the learning, how much you value it. Finally, it boils down to that. How much do you value this learning? Do you really value it, or is it time pass for you? 2 days I go to play bridge in the club. 2 days I do yoga. Okay. 2 days I meet my friends for a walk. And 1 day I'll come to Vedanta. That is time structuring. That won't work. It'll work for bridge and walking and all that is good. For that it is good. Not for Vedanta. Vedanta has to be more committed. How much you value it, how much you want it in your life, how much you want this knowledge to be part of you. You can be doing 100 things, that doesn't matter. You may be committed to a lot of other things, that also doesn't matter. Can you commit yourself to Vedanta in the same manner? Then it will work for you. Yam esha vrinati tena labhyaha. One who chooses it gets it. If you're not making a choice, you won't get it. So why postpone it? Brahmaloka, etc. This lifetime itself. This lifetime itself. Okay. Any questions, clarifications, or it's okay? Simple. This Upanishad is very simple Upanishad in many ways. Yeah. Then a little bit in the next section, he's talking about a little bit inquiry into the self, etc. All that is there. So that we can see next class. Okay. Good place to stop. Yeah, Shilpi, you had a question.
Swamiji, I understood the unfolding up to the point where Vamadeva comes in.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what was the point of...
Yeah, he says, this knowledge, Vamadeva got exposed to the knowledge in his womb, and that was enough to make it work. The idea is that wherever you are, you have to get the knowledge.
Oh.
That is the Arthavada, exaggeration, to highlight the importance of the knowledge. Yeah. Okay, then good place to stop. Om Tat Sat.